Well, looks like we're live. Well, goody, mates. Glad for joining me tonight. Oh, wait a second here. Let's try that again. I think I had it muted. Anyhow, goody, mates. Thank you for joining me today. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. It's been like, what was it, over a month? Well, about a month since I've live streamed. Man, a lot of things came up. Of course, you had Thanksgiving, fell right on the Thursday that I usually go. So that was a no go. And then, of course, getting ready for the big show in Houston. That was an awesome show. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. See what we got on here in chat. Richard Munns 86. Hello, little early to the show. Hey, glad to have you. Red Foreman. Let me see if I do. Oh yeah, I forgot I could do that. Cool. My killifish I picked up from you at the show are doing great so far. Oh man, it's good to hear. I like to hear when I learn my killifish are doing great. Jeff Kane, welcome. Silver Creek, hey, how you doing, man? Still need to get out together. We gotta find time to do that. We should. Hopefully, it's gonna get in winter time. It's a good time to scout around and just stop from netting and stuff. Just when it gets really cold out, it's hard to get in the water. But hey, Fish Fam Link, thank you and welcome. So tonight, I guess some things to talk about. We uh, did the show in Houston. Man, we even got a new puppy. We got a new, I think it's 5 month old yellow lab, and named Cotton. Man, it's a great dog. It's really, really nice. Awesome dog. A friend had it, and they were trying to sell some of them. And so it's going to be AKC registered and all that. She's just a sweet dog, but it's going to be more of a pet than anything else. I might take her out in the field doing falconry work and run around and see if she can flush out some rabbits or maybe flush some ducks off a pond or something here and there. We'll see. Let's see. Silver Creek. Yeah, we do. All the bluefins are still thriving. Still zero losses. That's what I expect from those. Those guys are hardy. They're easy to keep, and man, they just do awesome. Red Foreman, the male is already getting his colors in, and uh, I'm in love with these fish. What species did you get? I think I had, well, not necessarily species, but I had at least 8 varieties. I think 8 or 9 varieties of killifish. And man, the next show, I think I'm going to blow it out of the water. I've got so many different species coming. I think I might double that at the next show we do. Next show we do here will be in the second weekend of March, if I'm not mistaken, here in Irving. It'd be at the. Boy, I have to look it up. I better not say where it's at, or I get it wrong and confuse everybody. But there'll be some stuff coming out about it. Sky the Fish Street has claimed some once they start breeding. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Scotty's cool. I've sent him some fish. He was trying to hatch out some Nothia branchius. He said he thought they're eyed up. Well, they probably were eyed up, and they're ready to go. He wet them and didn't get anything hatching out today. So he's going to re-dry the eggs, wait another week or so, and try again. Yeah, the gardener eye. Man, those things, I love the gardener eye. Those are, they just, the blue on those, they get these stunning, deep, really beautiful blue colors. You wait till that thing gets a couple months older, and it's going to blow you away. It'll grab your attention every time you walk in that room. At least it does for me. Coro, hey dude, how you doing? Yeah, don't forget that thumbs up. I would appreciate that. That would be awesome. Um, man, they so uh, I'm trying to look at something here real quick. Oh yeah. And all the other things I'm doing, I am trying to set up some new rack over here. So I tore down an old rack. I have, if you're local to the area, if anybody needs them, I've got 2 racks that I don't use anymore. The one of them holds 20 longs, 3 of them, and the other one holds 20 talls. Three of those. They're sitting outside right now, and it's a light rain, so hopefully it doesn't. It's made of what do you call it? 2x4s, and they're painted. They're not painted great. They were a quick throw together when I first started this fish room. Didn't know what I was gonna want or where I was gonna go with this room, so I figured, hey, I just put these together. 20 gallons are pretty useful, pretty versatile, but I ended up going like the killifish, and I only need a I don't really need 20 gallons right now with the stuff that I keep. If I had like blue Galaris or some of the bigger stuff, yeah, I probably could use a little bit of uh, Yeah, a little bigger tanks, but they're fine now. So I've got those. If anybody who's wanting those, you're gonna have to come and pick them up down here in Granbury, Texas. But if somebody wants them at this point, I'm just gonna have to let them go. I mean, I'll just give them to you. Just take them out of here. 'Cause I'm gonna throw them in a dumpster if nobody wants them. So if you want them, let me know. Uh, Silver Creek, hi, welcome to Nerd Central. That's right, I'm a big time nerd. Most of you know that. CNG Aquatics, hey, how you doing? Sarah, hey, how you doing, Sarah? Thanks for joining me. CNC Aquatics, hello, Silver Creek, yeah, all right. So the new rack I've got set up over here, it's one of those Baker rack styles. They have two different types at Home Depot and Lowe's. One of them is like a 5 shelf, and each rack holds 350 pounds. Well, I'm putting 5.5 gallon aquariums on these. So if you add that up, about a gallon per tank. By the time you add substrate and decorations or anything like that, so you just round it up a little bit. So 5.5 gallon aquariums, if they're full of water, about 55 gallons a piece, 55 pounds a piece, and you multiply that by five, I think it comes to like 250 some pounds, something like that. Well, that would be under the 350, but that's kind of pushing it. There's not a big safety margin in there. I'm doing it on the other side of the room, and I think eventually I will switch those out because I didn't realize they had the ones that are 6 tiers that hold 300. No, they hold 600 pounds. Well, these are rated 650 out of Lowe's, so it's 650 pounds a shelf. So that's plenty of a margin of error. It's like over double, capacity to what I need. So that should work great. So what's going on, chat? Yep. So put these things together. Finally took those other racks out. Had to drain all the water out. It's just a pain getting those out of there with deep sand substrates, and man, it's just a pain. So finally got those out. Got the new rack up. I've got lights on it, and I've showed you that. I think the last live stream I showed you the lights I like to use. So I got another box of those. It's like $47 for 6 lights. So it's really affordable. It's not bad at all. Uh, So what I need to do now is I got plywood. I stick up. I think it's almost half inch. Some odd number. I forget exactly what the thickness is. But I cut those out to size and put them down because they distribute the weight much better. But I got to paint them. So I cut them out last night. It got really dark on me. Started to cool off a little bit and kind of got humidity. So I didn't want to paint them. And then today it's raining. So I can't paint them today. Tomorrow at night, it might not rain, but we'll see how cool it is and see what the humidities are. If it's cool and high humidities, I'm not going to try to paint it. I may have to wait till probably Sunday to paint them. So we'll see. Uh, so I got to do that, and then I got to put manifolds on it. So to get a manifold, basically what I do for a manifold is I take a PVC pipe, and typically for my racks, I only have 5 going across at a time. I just use 3/4 inch PVC. You could probably get away with half. I think I was half on that rack. Works just fine. But 3/4 is even better. You come across with 3/4 pipe and you cap both ends off. You just cap them off. And then you drill your holes through for valves, for the little stainless steel valves. And you use a drill bit. You stick the stainless steel valve, you make the drill grab the end of the valve where the barb fitting's at, and then you just screw it in the holes you made if you make the right size holes. I don't remember off the top of my head what size holes, but it's not hard to figure it out and find. So you just drill those right in place, and then you untake it off and chuck it and do it done. Once you have 5 of those spaced out, which we usually sit them up on there, and I hold them above the rack and mark it where the 5 gallon aquariums are going to be, and have them set up that way. And then on the end where the air is coming in, I just drill a hole in the end that's going to fit my tubing. Now, airline tubing comes in different outside diameters. So the inside diameters, a lot of it are the same, but the outside's going to be different. So make sure you pre-fit, figure out, do a test hole somewhere and make sure it fits really tight in there. So if it fits really tight, I take the pipe that's the little tubing, that little 1/4 inch tubing, and I cut it at an angle so it comes a little point on it, so it's easier to thread in the end, and just shove it in there a couple inches, and it makes a good enough seal that when it pressurizes, that it holds fine. It doesn't even leak. It's great. You're not putting a lot of pressure on these things. And then I zip tie that to the back and have those all coming down, like little umbilical cords all coming down to the tanks and adding air. So I got to get that all set up, and I've bought a big pump for the whole room. And it's one of the ones from Gemco. I bought it from Gemco. They're on sale. They were on sale. I don't know if they still are or not. pretty good deal on it. So I bought that, oh man, probably a month or two ago now. But I have it sitting over on the floor, and eventually I will go around the top and put a loop in and hook that up and pressure it'd be supplying air to the whole room. I think I counted it. There's going to be like 47 actual fish tanks. That's not counting anything that's got like a small tubs or any of the fry grow out. You can barely see one. I guess down here, my shoulder here. See that down here? That's the fry grow outs. Not counting those. So I had like 47 drops, I think, through the whole room. And instead of coming like the rack behind me, oops, man, it's hard to figure this out. But the rack back here behind me, what I'll do is I'll take on this rack, and I think I'm going to come down here with a piece of PVC pipe off the top, and then each row just kind of tap off a bigger pipe over to that main line, maybe a flexible hose going over to it to pressurize the whole line, and have the valves coming here. So if I had the valves on the ceiling coming off and all the little umbilical cords coming down like an octopus, it'd be a pain in the butt to get up there and adjust one tank isn't bubbling right. To get on a ladder and figure out which tube it actually is. Nah, forget that. If it was all going right up there, I can see where the line's going and I can adjust it very quickly on the fly. So that's what I plan to do. Let's see what we got going on. Jacob, welcome. Yeah, if you do enjoy the show, please hit a thumbs up. That would really help me out. I just got over 500. I was on the stream on what's his name? Oh boy, what is his name? Got the big beard. Oh man, he does the focus ons. Why am I spacing out on his name? It was on his live stream. He mentioned I was cutting close, and so I put me over to 500. So that'll be cool. Just wondering, will the garden I want to start breeding, being this young, or they be older? You probably got it in about a month or so. If you feed them really good and they grow fast, and you could actually start seeing some breeding behavior in about a month. I've got some that are, it's hard to see on the screen, but they're about inch and a half, almost two. I guess closer to 2 inches, and they're dropping eggs for me. They're a P92s instead of the different locale that you have. I noticed my male getting a little picky with the female. Yeah, he might be chasing her around a little bit. They do that early, so look at the female. What you need to do is watch the female. You'll see her abdomen swell up. And if you look really closely as she goes by, you can actually see little white eggs in there. And if you see the little white balls inside her abdomen, man, you're ready to go. Drop a spawning mop. In fact, I'd drop a spawning mop in there right now. There's no reason not to. It's extra cover so she can get out of the way if the male starts picking on her too much. And if she's ready to lay eggs, she'll start dropping eggs. All you got to do is pull it out, go through those eggs, and see if you can find it. She runs and hides in the plants. Yeah, that's a good sign that you might be but that she might be ready to start dropping eggs. So drop a spawning mop in there. If you need help with spawning mop, making one or whatever, let me know. It's easy. Oh, thank you, Silver Creek. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it didn't take me too long to get to 500. I didn't really try really hard. I wasn't, pushing it, but so that's good. Rico, yeah. Every time I hear his name, I want Rico Suave. But Rico Stan, yeah, on his live stream. Thanks, Kevin, Jeff. Oh, and Silver Creek and whoever else mentions it. Vibes, hey Vibes, how you doing, man? It was good seeing you in Houston. That was a really cool show. I had a lot of fun down there. Man, that was the biggest show that I'd ever done. It worked out really well. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. I scrolled in. It looks like Stephen P. Hey, how you doing, man? That's right, man. Give me a thumbs up. Hey, Vibes. Thanks, Vibes. Appreciate it. And so hopefully go pretty quickly. I can grow this channel. I really want to do a lot more killifish videos, more long versions. I sit down and actually video some of the species and go over. I got a lot of ideas. Just maybe pick a species and do a little research ahead of time. Maybe pull some videos up, maybe some websites to go to get information, and start working on it and put a video out. I think the puppy is playing on a cord under my door. I noticed there's a my daughter moved back in, so we put up a quick little land connection to this room. And the cord goes from my room straight over her, this room here, straight over her bedroom. And I noticed the cords are getting yanked. I quit. So hopefully the puppy's not trying to chew the cord in half. But yeah, sorry about the distraction. Let's see, where are we at? Let me scroll back up here. Um, This is a big threshold. Soon you'll be at 1, 2, and 5K. I hope so. What I was saying is I'm trying to get some videos together, maybe just pick up whatever species I have. And I counted, currently, it looks like I'm right about 30 species I'm keeping of killifish. That's just killifish. I got other stuff too, but that's 30 species of killifish. And I think I'm at 24 that I'm breeding, and I'm counting breeding as laying eggs. That's not quite the same as growing up a fry to full size and being able to breed. That's when you really kind of officially, count that as breeding. But I'm getting there. I got, yeah, 20, yeah, 22, 23, 24 maybe right now. Uh, okay, awesome. Thank you. I think you were going to go ahead and get a spawning mop just just because I'll never see any eggs in the plants now and have before my snails get to them. I have never had snails eat my eggs, as far as I know. Of course, I can't measure that in any way, but sometimes I'll have mops full of eggs, and I'll have the same mop will just be covered with snails too, and it just doesn't seem to be any correlation to my snails and my eggs. Maybe if you were gone for a while and your garden are laying some eggs and you weren't feeding the snails and they got hungry enough and there's nothing else to eat in your tank, maybe. But I don't know. I just don't think they really do much damage to your snails. I mean, to your eggs. I've never had a problem. I have a lot of snails in some of my tanks. What I like to do is I overfeed, especially my breeders and the ones that are really growing out. So anything else I don't really overfeed that much, but I overfeed those. My tanks are designed and set up in a way they can handle that extra food, especially my fry grow outs. I can throw a lot of food in each little tub, and that whole tub dumps back into a bigger sump at the bottom, where I have a lot of some of them have decomposed granite, and the other ones have lava rock in it. Either way, there's so much surface area down there that there's a lot of bacteria, a lot of beneficial bacteria that just kind of absorbs any of the extra waste. And then I have every single one of my fry containers has a snail, at least more than one usually. Those snails help clean up all the stuff that sits on the bottom, so it doesn't actually go bad. So that whole system kind of works together. And the breeder tanks I can overfeed because I have the tanks are a pretty good size. Even a 5 gallon tank is pretty good when you only got two little fish in there, and you have some plants in there. So all that working together is just absorbing all that extra nutrients you're putting in there for the food. Some of my tanks have so little extra nutrients in them that I'm having troubles growing some plants. Even guppy grass, things like that dies off. The duckweed gets real thick on top, and it just seems to suck up all the nutrients out of there. So I got to clean the duckweed out constantly, and it grows so fast with that extra nutrients in that soil. I mean, in the tank. Of course, I'm adding all that stuff in there, so I've got to be careful not to pull too much plants out too fast. So I've got a tank that's got a really thick layer of duckweed in there, and I'm overfeeding it like crazy. And I don't have a lot of other plants in there. I got to be careful when I pull that duckweed out because that duckweed's actually helping me. It's absorbing a lot of that nutrients, a lot of that extra ammonias and nitrates, nitrites, all that stuff before it becomes toxic. So I yank all that out of there and keep feeding heavy. I could have a problem. So if I take all that duckweed off the top, I feed lighter for a while until the duckweed grows back a little bit. It's kind of a balance. I kind of look at my tanks and usually I can tell what's going on with them. Hey, Scotty, I'm here. We're going to be starting from the beginning at 1.5 time. Hey, man, I do it to your stream too. I tell you, I get there a little late, man. I crank that sucker up. Sometimes it's double speed if I'm way behind. And then I have to go back usually and slow it down because I want to hear what I missed something that's too fast. And that ends up probably taking me longer to get through it anyhow. But oh well. Hey, Skull Aquatics, how you doing? Let's see what's going on in chat. Smart Scotty, yeah, I remember tricky. Yeah, I always do the same thing. Uh, let's see Aquatics have been on here. Let's see if I see anybody new. Scrolling through. Man, it's been a while since I've live streamed, but I'm kind of missed it. Our Aquatic Universe with Mike B. Hey, how you doing? I don't think I've seen you on a stream before. Very cool. Uh, you support everyone live. You're pretty awesome, brother. Yes, yes. Jeff is very cool. I appreciate him. Hey, Red Foreman. Yes, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, everyone. And the little killies are my Christmas treats. Oh, cool, man. Error 0351. The old timers say bladder snails will, but ram's horns won't. I don't know if that's true. Man, I have a ton of both. I probably have pond snails. I don't know if there's a difference between pond snails and bladder snails. Somebody said which way their shell twists or turns. I don't know. I just know I've got a lot of trumpets, Malaysian trumpet snails, and all that stuff too. So, uh, killies are the biggest thing since Shaq. It's funny. Like you said, I wonder if the snails have to be starving before they would eat the eggs. I'm assuming they're. I mean, I don't know. These killifish eggs are pretty strong. I mean, you can pick them up and squeeze them. I mean, they're pretty stout. They got a pretty hard shell on them. So I don't know if the snails can really even eat through that. I just don't know. I mean, you got to have some kind of a mouth, and they got to be able to chew some stuff up because they do eat dying plants and things like that. But I just don't really know. But I don't seem to have a problem because I have some serious snails. Of course, if I pull a spawning mop up and I got some snails in that, usually I pull those away and I give them to my wife's figure eight puffer. So that's how I kind of control my snail population a little bit, but I don't really try to control it at all. One day I worked a little harder on my stuff. Man, I'm 4 minutes behind. I'm not quite Rico behind, but I'm getting there. I love my snail cleaners because they overfeed too. Yeah. It's really easy to overfeed, and if I have tanks that I'm not breeding or anything in, I might only feed them once every other day. But if I'm breeding, I'm feeding twice a day, and I'm feeding maybe more than the other one. So I am just pounding food, but I never see food on the bottom. So every once in a while, if I get too carried away and I start seeing food on the bottom starting to fungus up and get that fuzzy look, I slow down. I'll stop feeding that tank nearly as much. Let things kind of clear up and catch up, and I'll start testing the water a little bit too, just to make sure that I haven't really, fouled things up bad. Uh, my bedtime, y'all. Thanks for starting streaming. Hey, Vibes. Hey, I'm going to be talking about the Expo here just shortly, so catch it on the replay. Yeah, see what else is going on. Looks like everybody's talking to everybody. That's pretty cool. I read snail only eat infertile eggs. Yeah, they definitely would eat fertile eggs. I even had accidentally I got a snail in with my eggs that I pulled from the spawning mops. And I never saw them eat the eggs, but I never had any fungus eggs in there either. So I actually might experiment if I have a species that I'm getting a lot of eggs from, and I got a couple fungus stuff. I might just drop a snail in there and just see what happens. What's the worst could happen, right? Stephen P. Awesome. Just lurking at drawing fish and such. Very cool. What kind of fish you drawing? Jennifer Weaver. Hey, how you doing? Their day with air algae on the algae is bigger than he is. Awesome. Uh, Thank Pyle. Jeff. Pyle, I'm not sure how killifish eggs do. I know snails can and do eat healthy ram angel eggs. Interesting. Very interesting. So, the Houston show. Man, I'll tell you what, that was the biggest show that I'd ever done. And but before I talk about the Houston show, I do want to give a shout out to Jerry from oh, uh, what is I'm a little tired. Papa Shrimp, Jerry from Papa Shrimp. He set me up with some clownfish. So I bought 25 clownfish, six of them, well, three pairs of adults, and then the rest of them were all different age juveniles. So, uh, so I thought it was, it was pretty cool of him to give me a good deal on those things. So I got him to come home and set them up, and he explained to me how he was doing it. He even released a couple of videos, kind of going through and showing how he sets his up. He does kind of more of a natural spawning method than I normally do with my killies. So basically, he just sets a heavily planted tank up, not really heavily planted, but he sets a bunch of breed in the tank on their own and moves fry because fry get a certain size, they'll start eating new smaller fry, so you get this weird generational gap. So you got to remove some of those out. So he had moved stuff around. He got so many, he just overrun with them. I need to find a home. So if you're looking for clown killifish right now, give Papa Shrimp a shout and see if he's got any available. I have no idea what he's got available, but he might be way more willing to get rid of some more. So anyhow, I brought him home and separated them out. So I put all the adults breed look like they were breeding. Some of the females were just about to explode with eggs. Put those in a 5-gallon aquarium. We're spawning mop plants in there. I did do a water change because he was keeping his at a very low, very soft and slightly acidic tanks. And so that seems to be the trick. Everything I've read and everything says you have to have it pretty soft and maybe even slightly acidic for them to breed. And then afterwards, you can kind of keep them a little bit harder and a little higher pH. So I set those all up, and I separated two other fries, some of the smaller ones, stuck in two different containers. So the very next day I came in, I dropped the spawning mop in there with the adults. Came by the next day, and boom, I have eggs in there already. I think it was the next day, maybe it was the day after. I'm not sure, but it was quick. I had lots of eggs in there. So I thought, I could do it like Jerry does it and just let them breed in the tank and grow, or I could pull eggs like I do everything else and see what happens. And I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll do both. So I threw a second mop in there. Next day I came and checked. That mop had eggs in it too, and I'm just spot checked real quick, and the other spawning mop had eggs in it. So the other spawning mop that was going to stay in the tank is bigger than the little small mop that I have. I'm going to pull out. So every day I'm pulling out eggs. I think I have like 20 eggs. It was like Saturday. I picked the Achilles up from him on Saturday. So between Saturday and now, I have about 20 eggs out of that one spawning mop. There's a bunch in the other one too. I don't know how many are in it. I'm not going to disturb him. Leave him alone. So I'm trying to experiment. So I'll put these in small container with methanol blue with my tap water, dechlorinated through a carbon block. So I'm trying to see which method's going to work the best. Me pulling eggs or them just doing their own thing. I don't know what's going to happen. I've never bred clown killies before. And I'm putting them in my hard water right now. The eggs just in my regular old tap water to see what happens. Jerry was saying when he was letting them or moving into harder water, they were dying. They weren't making it. So I'm going to see if they'll hatch out in that water or not. They may not hatch. But I looked today, and the eggs I pulled earlier are already showing signs of development inside. So they all look fertile. I didn't see one infertile egg in there. So I think this is going to work. This is going to be a cool experiment. Hey, Garcia. Hey, pals. Hi. How are you and everyone in the chat? Jeff Kane. Looking through let me just look through here. Yeah, Coro. Clown killies are called rocket killies too sometimes. Or no, not like Nemo. They're not like Nemo. That's a saltwater fish. These are a freshwater, small little rocket killies. Some they're called sometimes. They're real small. Epiplotes annulatus. They're just an inch and a half would be a big one. So they're real small and they look like they have a rocket shooting out the back. They got this red little flame looking thing and blue around the edges of it. Absolutely gorgeous. Very cool little fish. Very easy to keep too. Yes, clown killifish, right? That's different. Looking down through here real quick. Got a chance to give me a call tomorrow. Feel bad. Okay. Hey, so that's where I'm at with those. And I also picked up some Golden Wonder killies too. I've been wanting those for a while. Somebody finally got me a good deal on the Golden Wonders. So now I have, I think 8 of those. Yeah, I think there were 8 originally, but I only caught 7. I don't know. There was one that they escaped. I got to go back down there and get it. But that was from Addicting Aquatics. He doesn't have a YouTube channel as far as I know. He's a guy that lives here in Glen Rose, Texas, not too far from me. We always help each other out. He was at the Houston Expo too. And he was diagonally across from me. If you were there, he had some really, really nice setup. Big rack set up with a bunch of larger cichlids and some smaller cichlids over there. He does a wonderful job. And at the local shows, he does a lot of used equipment, real cheap. I mean, he does a really good job. I would highly recommend checking him out. But so he was there. So down at the Houston show, I'm telling you, man, that was a blast. Let me look at the chat real quick. Let's see. Almost caught up. I'll ask now though. Amelia, I have three females, one and two males, I think. Sinking mops or floating mops, no eggs at all. Ideas. I don't know about that species. I never kept that species, so I don't know. So your guess is as good as mine. The research, you probably do the same research I would do if I was looking it up. But I would recommend shooting somebody like Art Litterman. If you need his email address or anything, let me know. He's with the AKA. That dude, man, seems to know a ton of stuff. He's super helpful. In fact, everybody I've met at the AKA seems to be. And that's the American Killifish Association. Seems to be really helpful. And man, they just want you to thrive. It's pretty awesome. I have community spawn clown killies. They do eat their fry if they find them. Yep. I have a long clown goby. Hey Zen, how you doing? Let's look here. I know that there are, but there's. You keep saying clownfish. Do I see? Am I saying clownfish? I don't mean to be saying clownfish. Maybe clown killifish or. Huh. I'll have to make sure I don't do that. Thanks for pointing that out. Let's see. Anybody else come in? Let's see. And we're going to make a point to make more and go to shows. Yeah, yeah. Do that. I like to see at the shows and see what I have got going on. Hey, man, you know what? If you really are interested, they're Silver Creek. Tommy, give me a call or give me a message and let me know if you're interested in this. But sometimes I need extra help at some of these shows. Uh, I could use an extra helper. I could probably get you in for free if you're wanting to help out, and then of course you have time to go walk around, stuff too. I'm not going to be a slave driver, but I know you're local and you're friends, so hey, let me know. As a vendor, do you think they will have the show here again? I heard a few people backed out last minute. I don't know if anybody backed out, but yeah, they're definitely having a show. I've already signed up. They've already announced the dates are going to be the weekend right after Thanksgiving. So just the very next weekend, yeah, they're going to do it again. They're growing it. They knew the first show there's going to be our smallest one, but I know there's other people interested. I have a friend here in the area that I talked to about going. He's like, I want to see how it goes before I commit to it. So he was down there checking it out. He does killies and some other stuff too. So he's going to go, and I think a lot of other vendors did the same thing. Liquid Zoo, hey, how you doing, man? So yeah, it's definitely doing. It's going to get bigger. It's only going to get bigger. I think they said the reptile show next door because they do the reptiles and they do the aquarium stuff side by side. Over there, I think they did 20,000. They said they might have had the biggest crowd they've ever had at any of their shows they've ever done. And on the aquarium side, I think they had like 7,000, which isn't surprising. They're always big, haven't been going long enough. So I bet they made it much bigger next year. Probably be double that, I bet. Chase Jennings, hey, how you doing, man? I can help out with any questions on the expo. Definitely be doing it again. I already have a ton of vendors signed up for 2004. And Chase, I'll get with you, but I got charged for instead of just doing a deposit, I got charged for the whole thing. Send an email, but I didn't hear anything back. I know you guys are probably super busy, and it's not that big a deal. So just let me know. I'm definitely doing it again, man. Had a great time. So let's see. Sky agree on the okay. I'll order. Oh, there you go. Chase was the one that helped me out, kind of my contact. The guy he actually talked me into going. I wasn't sure I was going to go. I didn't know if I had enough stuff, and it was the first time going over there, and it's a long ways from here down there. You know, hotels and wasn't sure I was going to cover my costs, but yeah, it was well worth it, and I will definitely do it again. But 8,500 plus attendance at the first Aquarium Nation Expo. That's awesome. That's way more than we see up here at the little expos we do. So I appreciate all your work too. It's pretty awesome. Chaotic. Oh yeah, I know, man. I that's why I didn't. I just sent the email and waited, but it's not a big deal. I know you'll take care of it. You guys were awesome to me. Really appreciate it. You guys made it easy. As far as an expo, I've done a bunch of different expos and things. That's definitely the one of the easiest to get in and out of. Drive right up to your booth and unload your stuff. Worked great. So I really appreciated that. So Chase is the one that contacted me probably about a little over a month before the show, asking, "Hey man, when you want to do the show?" And I was like, "Well, I wasn't sure," but he ended up assuring me that there's going to be a lot of publicity. They had big giant billboards all over Houston, other kind of publicity was going on, so it was really well advertised, which is really nice. Uh, so I got my stuff together. I started talking. Well, I wasn't sure. Still was on the fence, but I talked to Steve with Addictive Aquatics, and he said, "Hey, I'm going down there. You going to go?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll probably go." So that's what I went ahead and made a decision to go ahead and go down there, and worked out with Chase was contacting me about the same time, and we worked out a deal. So it was awesome. Uh, Glad to have you there. Thank you for all your patience with us on the first time. If you have any suggestions for the next one, constructive feedback helps a lot. Well, the only thing that there was one thing that I noticed that was kind of like a second afterthought, or it wasn't planned out very well, and understandably so, was the talks during the event. Talks are a great idea, but it just did not work out the way you guys had it set up, and I know there was just too much going on trying to get something started all over again. I can't imagine how frazzled you guys were by the end of this. So that'd be the only thing. Maybe stick somebody in charge of that. Get a you know I don't no idea when people were coming through the door if they knew there was talks going on or not. But I know as far as us vendors, only way I knew there was a talk is because you asked me to give a talk. That would be the only way I know there was even talks going on. So I think that could be an improvement, and that's something simple. But maybe you guys had something at the door when people were coming through. You're talking about them. That would be, maybe that was great. But so so I started planning for this expo, and I talked to my wife, and she was like, "Oh man, I'm not sure I have enough stuff because, uh, we needed to be fish related or reptile and amphibian related, maybe a little bit of that stuff, but primarily it had to be aquatic related products, which makes perfect sense." So I started scrambling, looking at the stuff I had. Man, I started feeding Fry like crazy, trying to get him up to speed. My wife started feverly had to go buy some more, like cups and things like that, products for her to be able to put her art and some of the stuff she does on there. If you don't, not sure what I'm talking about, watch a video that I posted about the expo on my channel, and you'll see kind of the stuff. I go and show my table off. You'll see what I'm talking about. All the crazy stuff she has. It's pretty amazing, the stuff she puts together. So she went crazy trying to get things together. We had to go buy stuff, and she was manufacturing stuff in there. I was doing 3D prints. I got bucket handles, man. The best thing you ever want for your aquarium room. Every aquarist has to have 5 gallon buckets, and those stupid little handles will cut in your hand. So I've got these 3D handles that I print out that just snaps on instead of that white little plastic piece, and they fit your hand better, and they're about this big around with grooves in it where your fingers will sit instead of that just that wet little tiny little piece. Makes great. Chase's 100% is definitely something being improved. Someone stole the PA system that we had, so that didn't help. Oh man, that sucks. Yeah, that kind of makes it hard to give a talk whenever you don't even have anything to talk, anything to use to project your voice. So we started scrambling around. I ended up taking 2 days off work, Thursday and Friday. Craig's Catfish Cave, hey, welcome. So Thursday, I do all kind of stuff. We got this new puppy I was talking about. My daughter was going to be taking care of the older dogs, but with the puppy, you got to be a little more on the ball, and you got to be getting them out more often. And she had to work too on Friday, and I think she had to work Saturday too, and so she wasn't going to be here. Um, Papa Shrimp, did Papa Shrimp sneak in here? I said, "Hello, Papa Shrimp." Where did he? Oh yeah, he did. Hey, Papa. Hey, Jerry. I was just talking about you and your awesome killifish you got for me. Thanks, man. Uh, so we I took the we got it from our friends that do the rescue, the Nature's Edge Wildlife Rescue, is where we got it from because they do all kind of different. It is a long story how they had the dog, but we got the dog from them, so they agreed, hey, just take her back, hang out with the other dogs they had for over the weekend. She'll have fun and be taken care of. So that's what I did Thursday. Ran her down. And then started clearing out everything, getting it ready for me to bag fish on Friday because I was going to have a lot of fish to bag. and I know it's taken me a long time to bag the fish that I usually have, and I was going to have more fish this time than I've ever had. So man, the first thing I did is on Thursday I went through all of my aquariums that I was going to be pulling fish out of, and took the duckweed off the top. It is a pain in the butt fighting duckweed when you're trying to chase little fish around the aquarium. So I pulled all the duckweed off the thing, put the duckweed in a bag, a couple different bags, and took those with me and ended up selling them. That's the first thing I sold out of was duckweed. Some other guys were making fun of me from the AKA. They're kind of making fun of me, going, "Hey, duckweed, you're selling duckweed." I said, "Yeah, you watch, I'll sell out." That's the very first thing. 15 minutes of the show, I was sold out of duckweed. So I'm going to bring a lot more duckweed next time. So anyhow, while all this is kind of going on, I guess originally whenever I talked to him, I asked him, "Hey, is it okay if I put the American Killifish Association and the Texas Area Killifish Association, which they're out of Houston, and Art Litterman's kind of the guy that heads that up down there?" I asked him, "Hey, can I put some of their stuff on my table to kind of promote them?" He's like, "Hey, I can do better than that. I can give you a table, a booth space." I'm like, "Oh man, dude, that's awesome," because they're a nonprofit organization, and they're promoting everything, and so that was awesome. So we got a booth set up for them, and so I immediately started coordinating with Art, Anna, and then Espinosa, Devin Espinosa, and got those guys making sure they were able to man the table and they had stuff to put on the table. And so they're the ones that took care of that table completely. Jason, one of the other members there, he showed up and he worked the table on Saturday and Sunday also. So those guys, 4 people there working that table, worked awesome. Did a really good job. They had a really cool display. Jason ended up buying these small. Oh, they're about this wide. Probably just only a couple inches wide or deep, and they're probably that tall or so. And he got those from Wild Fish Tanks. And he's a YouTuber too on here. Man, those things work great. I saw that thing. I had to buy me one. So he bought 2 of those, stuck some fish in there, killifish in there. Only filled about this full of water because killifish jump, but you still had about this much above it. So there's really no way they could get a good run and jump out. So man, it was a really cool display. I brought a little microscope that's got its own display on it, and we set that up, and they were sticking eggs underneath of that, so you can look at the eggs on the microscope. That worked really cool too. So those guys did a really good job. Then also Steve, Warrior Planted Warrior Planted Tanks. That didn't sound right, but I think that's what his name, the channel is. Anyhow, he contacted me. I called him. I said, "Hey man, you going to do it?" And he's like, "I don't know." So I said, "Dude, you got to do it." So he goes, "All right, I'm doing it." So he had a table set up too. So we had my booth, the American Killifish Association, then Steve's booth, and then diagonally from me was Addicted Aquatics, Steve over there. And then across from me this way was Gary's Fish Room. And Gary's Fish Room is a guy local to the area in North Texas. So we had a bunch of North Texas people down there all helping each other out. It's really nice to have a bunch of people like that, around, because man, they just everybody helps everybody else out. I need something, just go, "Hey, ask those guys, they'll give it to you. If they need something, I'll help them out in any way I can." So it worked out really good. So I'm really glad that those guys all came down. The fish community is really awesome. I mean, I can't say enough good stuff about it. I've never had any big problems, so I really appreciate the fish fam. So we get almost getting ready packed up. Let's see here. I'll be Chase's audio bouncer. Let's read some of the questions. Hey, Logan, how you doing? Amber says hi. Hi, Amber. Amber's my daughter, and that's it. That's our current boyfriend, Logan Morrison. Let's see if anybody else jumped in here real quick, and then we'll. Boy, a lot of people about the conversation. I adopted Steve, wherever he agrees around. He's my big brother. I love that man. I'm assuming you're talking about Steve. Steve with Addictive Aquatics, right? I think I'm pretty much caught up. Oh, there you go. Anyhow, so Thursday, cleared everything out, got everything set up. Basically, packed all my wife's stuff up. We had everything ready to go except for my fish. So the plan was Thursday. She had to work Thursday and Friday. She couldn't get off work. So she had to work, but she worked out a deal where she get off a little early, about 3 o'clock or so. So the idea was if I bust my butt, got up early, actually started bagging Thursday night, some of the bigger fish. I didn't feed them for 24 hours before that. So I could bag the bigger fish that could handle a little extra no food time and in a bag time, wouldn't hurt them. So I bagged those up, got up next morning, pretty early on Friday, and man, went for it. I had everything all laid out, everything ready to go. It was just wham, started doing it. And I changed the way I do things. I had been putting pairs in one small 4-inch bag. Well, I guess they're 2-inch bags. And it worked fine. But I had a losser once in a while, and it seemed to be a pain to go into a tank and look for the biggest fish in there. You go grab the biggest fish, and then you figure out, okay, that was a male. So then you pick out the biggest female in there. You chase her around before I get her. I put her in there. Then you seal them all up, and you set them aside, and you do that for the whole tank. And then you go make labels, put labels on each and every one of those containers. It worked, but it seemed to be time consuming. I thought, man, I can speed this up. So what I did is I put one fish per small bag, and this way I could just grab a fish. Whatever fish was there, grab it, throw it in the bag, seal it up. Grab another fish, seal it up, and then at the end, pair them up. It's much easier to pair them up when you're looking in the bags than through the aquarium chasing around with a little net. So that sped things up. And that, well, of course, I stuck those into a 4-inch bag. And so that way everything was all there. And I labeled each of the 4-inch bags outside of that, the species name, the full name, the location information, everything about those on the outside. And so that worked really well. That sped things up. So that's what we did. So I worked my butt off all day Friday, just bagging fish as fast as I could. I ended up bagging a total of about 150 fish. Not all those were my fish, and not all those were for sale. Some of those fish, I think there was 6 pair, yeah, maybe 6 pair, uh, were for the AKA. Somebody had mailed me some fish to give away with new members at the convention for the American Killifish Association. So if you join the American Killifish Association, you're a new member, you can get a pair of free fish. That's a deal even online. If you sign up right now, you go to the website and you sign up, you're eligible for free fish. You have to pay for shipping. But if you're at the expo, you have to pay for shipping. So it's completely free. You get a free pair of fish. So I bagged all those up too. And I decided to have a 5-gallon aquarium, a community tank. So I have a 20-gallon tall full of all kinds of different community fish and killifish. So I've got like neon tetras in there, brilliant rasboras, a CPD. I don't know what else is in there. There's a bunch of little fish in there. So I grabbed those and bagged a bunch of those up too. And even I had some killies, like some orange estrels, some gardener eye. I forget what else is in there. Man, there's a bunch of different books, those too. So I set those up in an aquarium at the show, so people could see, hey, these do work okay in a community tank. Most of them. There are some serious exceptions that you would never do that with. They're all little murder fish, but majority of them that you can normally find around are going to be fine in a community tank. So it was really cool. So that's what happened. My wife got home, and I was just bagging up the last couple of fish, throwing everything in containers. We loaded up the vehicles. We had to take 2 vehicles, and I had one of those carriers on the back that's like a, I don't know what you call them, but they're basically a rack. You stick on your ball hitch, where your ball hitch goes, and your receiver hitch. You slide it in there, and it's got an extra room in the back. So we had some cocoa core that we put in those back there and strapped everything down, and man, it took off to Houston. Everything said you had to be done by 9 o'clock was the time that you could set up on Friday night. So we took off, and the GPS said 8:45 is when we get there, and I was like, oh geez, this is not going to be good. Well, so we took off. We got down there about 8:30. Well, luckily we planned on just getting 8:30, pull up to our booth, just get everything out of the cars, and get out before 9 o'clock. That way, go back to the hotel room. My wife was going to finish making some hats or some other stuff she was making. So, which I can't say enough about my wife. I mean, that woman works her butt off, and there's no way I would be nearly successful as I am without her help. Especially making all the stuff she makes and helping going down there, man. It is awesome to have a partner that's right beside your side, working as hard as you are with the same goals. You can get that in life. You got something special. So I can't say enough about how much help she was. I really appreciate her help. So we got down there, man. We didn't even. something that's stressful and something with money riding on it. We spent money on hotels, gas. We spent money to get the table. All this money, then buy all the supplies and everything. We're going, man, we got a lot of money tied up in this. We need to make some money on this thing. So it's stressful, but we never even got on each other's nerves. I mean, maybe small, little, tiny little things, but it was great. So we got there. Luckily, we could stay a lot later than we really planned. We got the tables all laid out. We got a banner up. We got some stuff done. So we got it about half set up or so. It was pretty late at night. We're beat at this point. We're done. Helped Steve set some of his stuff up. That's with Addicting Aquatics. And then we went back to the hotel room. My wife made some hats up. We crashed. Got up early the next morning, and we were going to get there. I believe the doors open at 7. We were told. Well, Art, man, I'm telling you, Art is awesome. Art Litterman with the AKA, the guy's awesome. He got there like at 6:15 or some crazy early hour. He was already in there, found his spot, and was already trying to get some of his stuff set up. Uh, Man, that guy is a big help. If he's involved, it's going to go smooth. Is all I can say. It was pretty awesome. So we got this. So we got there, got everything kind of starting to set up, and it took us. Oh man, it still took us like 2 hours. 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it took us over 2 hours. The doors were going to open for the VIPs at 9 o'clock. So normally at night during events like this, the VIPs flood in. You have a pretty good number of VIP people come in and they start buying stuff, and it goes pretty good. So 9 o'clock rolls around. We're pretty close to being done. We have a few more things to go, and not a lot of people are coming in. We don't see a lot of VIPs. And Warrior Planet Tanks. Yeah, Steve. Okay, that's who I was trying to. Yeah, I knew something wasn't right. Anyhow, thanks, Tommy. Uh, so we're like, we're kind of going, okay, where's everybody at? So we're starting to panic. At 9:30 rolls around, we're still not seeing, only a handful of people going, Big Steve's Glass Box Creations, welcome. And so about 10 o'clock rolls around, we're going, okay, this is when the real doors open. And so a couple of people are coming through. We're going, man, I hope it's just taking a long time to come through. Open the doors late or something. 9:05 rolls around. We're seeing some people coming in. Going, okay. By the time 9:10, 9:15, I mean, not 9, 10:10, 10:15 rolls around, man, it was like the place fills up with people. That's when like in 15 minutes, I already sold out of duckweed. Things started rolling. And then it got great after that. The whole day, there was people in front of the tables. It was great. There was enough room in this big area. It was nice and spread out. There wasn't, corridors that are so close together you can't get around everybody because everybody's standing looking at tables. That's frustrating. There was plenty of room for everybody to walk. There was no congestion. It was great. I really liked the way the whole show was run. Took a look around at the reptile area too, and it was awesome. I had pretty happy with the selections of things I saw. I didn't see a lot of sick animals. I didn't see any junk there, and it looked nice. So I really appreciate that when I see that. So thanks for the promoters for putting that on. I really, really appreciate that. So I think it did awesome. Big Steve's Glass Box Creation. I was going to say, Tommy, I love you too, bud, but I didn't know I was up for adoption. Let's see here. I don't think anybody else slipped in, did they? Tommy, I'll start getting partners, then working for the rest. Start getting a. Okay, I guess I missed something there. Yeah, find a woman smarter than you and you're set. Yeah, no kidding. There's a lot of things that she's smarter than I am, and that's the nice thing. I can do certain things better than she can. She can do certain things better than I can. So one of the tricks, I think, of any kind of relationship, it doesn't matter if it's a business relationship or your marriage or whatever, you use your partner. And I don't mean use and abuse them, and I don't mean anything like that. I mean use them. Use their talents. Know where they're better at things than you are. If you can recognize, hey, they're better at this than I am, let them handle that. If you're better at stuff than they are, they should come to you and let you handle that. If you're both handling stuff you're strong at, you're way better off. And it's not a competition. You can't be in a competition trying to compete with each other, because ultimately you're competing with yourself and it's going to hurt you. You're both on the same goal. You're both in the same direction. I know my wife is better at laying out the table than I am. I know she's better at the arts and crafts. I bow to her. I don't even set the table at a party anymore at all because every time I set it up, she sets it up different. It looks better. So you tell me what to do. I am your Indian, man. You chief me all you want. I'll do whatever you need to do. But when it comes to like breeding fish, setting up racks, all that kind of thing, I'm better at that. And she wouldn't try to come in here and tell me how to run my fish room because she knows she doesn't know much about that, and I do, which is great. I think that's a key to making it very successful. So we let's see here. Scotty doesn't make much size for me. So you're sold out of duckweed. That's amazing to me. I know. Every time I've taken duckweed to any show, I sell it out one of the first things. And you know how I've learned this trick from? That was he's not doing YouTube much anymore. What's his name? Man, a good friend of mine. He moved out to Graham, Texas. Uh, what? I'm just completely blown. Um, uh, this is bugging me. I hate when mine does this. Completely blank. I can look at his face. He starts out a videos. Hey, hey, hey. Um, Man, that's crazy. I know somebody will know what I'm talking about, but he would do shows here locally, and he would tell me he did aquashella. He had all these plants, all these cool fish, and duckweed. He sold duckweed the first thing he sold out of, and I was like, oh, I'm on to something. I guess people use it to feed their fish, so that's what people were using it for, and they were almost fighting over the last bag I had. It was crazy. Um, fish fam. I have randomly selected fish fam link that said sold out of duckweed in chat. Uh, uh, I'm just saying, just to hear response from everyone who tried to come in and tell you how to run your fish room. Oh, yeah, rigged. Jadran, yeah, Jadran Aquatics, Jason. Yeah, he's the one that started that. So I knew if I scrolled down far enough. Thank you, Skull Aquatics. Uh, so yeah, that's who. That's the one that started doing that. That was awesome. So uh, and then the show went really good. I would, man, I hope everybody else can come next year and come out and enjoy that show. Come down to Houston. Then after on Saturday, they did have well, not a raffle. They had a auction, and the auction went to the Amazon Research. Well, I'm going to screw that up if I try to say the whole thing off the top of my head. But it's a really good cause for all the aquatic stuff, and the reptile stuff I think went to the San Antonio Zoo if I remember right. All the proceeds. It would have been a good place to kind of hang out, but some of us were just dead tired. We decided we wanted to go to a restaurant. We're starving. We didn't have time to eat lunch. There was no way to eat lunch. You kind of snacked on some stuff behind the table. We tried to sneak a bite whenever nobody was standing there looking at you. So we were just done. So a bunch of us went to a restaurant and just kind of hung out and enjoyed each other's company. But next year, I think I'll probably go to the auction just to kind of hang out, and then maybe next year, maybe after the raffle, we'll all go to a restaurant or something. I don't know. We'll figure something out because it'd be fun to kind of hang out with everybody and talk even more. Amazon Research Center for Ornamental Fish. Thank you, Skull Aquatics. Zen. The darn thing was 15 minutes from my house and I still couldn't make it. Yeah, you were out of town, weren't you? Oh well. Maybe next year. Hopefully you'll be there next year. Uh, Zen, you are ridiculous. So yeah, it was a great show. I think that's got a lot of potential. I like to see that there was some, I wouldn't say smaller breeders, but some medium size or some like me. I'm not really a big breeder. I think I ended up, I don't know how many fish I had. It was 130 fish or something like that I had for sale, and I sold most of them. I did come home with some. There was some species that nobody really bought anything of, and then there's other ones that sold out quickly. And so basically, if I started selling a couple of them, I'd sell all of those. But the things I didn't sell much of, I didn't sell like any of. So it's kind of interesting. Whenever you're vending at these shows, you never know really what's going to sell at that particular show. My wife had some earrings that look like little fish in bags, and they're really cool looking little earrings. The expo we did here, she didn't sell a single pair of those earrings. Went down there and she sold out. And it was like 35 earrings, something like that. Real quickly sold out of those. So you just don't know. You just bring everything you can, and hopefully, what you're bringing is what people want. So that was a lot of fun. Learned a lot of things. I'll do some things differently. I think if I'm on track the way I am right now, I will probably have ooh 18 to 20 species of fish available. That's going to take a little bit of revamping of my uh, table. So the way I'm doing it now is I'm sticking little bins and I line them all up side by side, and I put the fish in there and I put a sign behind it of what it is, a picture of it, some information about it, and the price. That works great. But the problem is I'm gonna have so many bins now. It's gonna take up over a table and a half. It's gonna be cramped. So I'm gonna have to maybe somehow figure out how to go up and do a two-tier thing. But I don't want it like in front of my face. So I'm standing there talking to people. I don't want something that I'm gonna have to be looking around or anything like that. I need to be able to talk to people eye to eye. So I'm gonna have to work that out. Come up with some kind of genius idea. I don't know. It'll be fun. But I am getting kind of tired now because I came home and hurried up and pulled some eggs. I still have to pull more eggs. Still got to feed my fish. Uh, See what else I can get done tonight. There's a few other little projects that probably need to be done. It's already late. Got to work in the morning too, so I think I'm going to pretty much call it quits. If anybody has any more questions or any more comments, I would love to hear them. Let's see if anybody. Stormy Radza Legacy. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but welcome. That's it. Let's see if anybody else stuck in here right at the end. There we go. I like that comment. I've started to see breeders do a second level on their table at swaps. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure out some way of it, make it look a little more professional because I do a lot of different colors. You saw the video, and there's different colored bends, and it made it kind of colorful and lighter colors made it attractive as I was trying to do. And at one time, I had a different logo. My logo really ultimately didn't make any sense. I loved it. It made sense to me, but yeah, I kind of conceded. My daughter designed it. Man, it was a really cool design. But it's basically had a book with a killifish on it, and it's a pal aquatic. So for me, it was like a book of knowledge type of thing with the killifish, and it was cool, symbolistic to me. But other people couldn't figure out why the book was there. Was I selling books about killifish? And yeah, okay, they're right. It didn't make a whole lot of sense. So I designed my new logo, and it makes a lot more sense for the company. I don't like it as much, but I think it really works well for what I'm doing. So very cool. Hey, Liquid Zoo, how you doing? I already said hi to you, I think, but hi again. All right, I think I am done for this evening. I appreciate everybody showing up, and please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. And we'll try to catch you next Thursday and see what's going on in my crazy life. Thank you.